The birth of civilization is one of the most significant developments in human history, marking the transition from small nomadic groups of hunter gatherers to complex organized societies with cities, governance, religion, writing, and a stratified social structure. This monumental shift did not occur overnight. It was the result of gradual changes in technology, social organization, and the environment over thousands of years. This video will explore the emergence of civilization in different regions of the world, including Mesopotamia, ancient Egypt, and the Indus Valley, and early China. It will also examine the key factors that contributed to the rise of civilizations, such as the development of agriculture, the invention of writing, and the establishment of religious and political institutions. So let's first define civilization. Civilization is often defined as a complex society characterized by urban development, social stratification, symbolic communication forms like writing, and a perceived separation from and domination over the natural environment. In historical terms, civilization also implies a level of cultural and technological development that surpasses earlier forms of human organization. While the exact definition of civilization can vary, the key components include 1. Urbanization, the establishment of cities as centers of population, commerce, and governance. 2. Social stratification, the division of society into different classes, often based on occupation, wealth, or hereditary status. 3rd, complex institutions, the development of organized religious and social structures. 4. Writing and record keeping, the invention of writing systems that allow for the recording of transactions, laws, history, and literature. 5th, technology and arts, advancements in tools, building techniques, and artistic expression. 6th, agriculture, the domestication of plants and animals leading to stable food supplies and population growth. The birth of civilization is often associated with the Neolithic Revolution, which marked the transition from hunting and gathering to settled agricultural communities. This shift, which began around 10,000 BC, laid the foundation for the rise of the first civilizations in regions such as Mesopotamia, the Nile Valley, the Indus Valley, and China. Now let's deep dive into the Neolithic Revolution. Before the rise of civilization, humans lived as hunter-gatherers for hundreds of thousands of years. These early humans were nomadic, moving in small bands in search of food, water, and shelter. They relied on hunting animals and gathering wild plants for sustenance. The discovery and use of fire, the creation of tools, and the development of rudimentary social structures characterized this early period of human history. And then the transition to agriculture happened around 10,000 BC, marking the start of the Neolithic Revolution. This period saw the domestication of plants and animals, which allowed humans to produce surplus food. The domestication of plants such as wheat, barley, rice, and maize provided stable food sources, while the domestication of animals such as cattle, sheep, and goats offered meat, milk, and hides. The ability to produce surplus food had far-reaching consequences. For the first time, not everyone needed to be involved in production, leading to the specialization of labor. Some people became craftsmen, artisans, traders, or priests. This division of labor facilitated the creation of art and the development of complex social and political systems. Permanent settlements began to emerge as people established communities near their agricultural fields. These early villages and towns grew in size and complexity, eventually giving rise to the first cities. The stability provided by agriculture allowed populations to grow, leading to the need for more organized forms of governance and social structure. What was the role of climate and geography? The Neolithic Revolution did not occur uniformly across the globe. It was influenced by regional variations in climate and geography. Fertile land, access to water, and a favorable climate were critical factors in the development of agriculture. The Fertile Crescent, a region stretching from modern-day Iraq to Egypt, was one of the first areas where agriculture emerged. The Tigris and Euphrates rivers in Mesopotamia and the Nile River in Egypt provided the water and fertile soil needed for farming. In other parts of the world, such as the Indus Valley and China, similar conditions allowed for the independent development of agriculture. In these regions, the rivers provided not only water for irrigation but also a means of transportation and communication, facilitating trade and the exchange of ideas. Then we come on to Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization. Mesopotamia was located between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers in what is now modern day Iraq. It was here that the first true cities emerged, and with them, the foundations of what we now consider civilization. By around 3500 BC, the Sumerians, one of the first peoples to settle in Mesopotamia, had established the first cities such as Uruk, Ur and Eridu. The cities of Mesopotamia were among the earliest examples of urbanization. These city-states were independent political entities that controlled the surrounding countryside and were characterized by a high degree of social complexity. At the center of each city was a large temple complex or ziggurat, which served as both a religious and administrative center. The development of cities allowed for the concentration of resources, people and ideas, leading to advancements in technology, culture and governance. The Sumerians developed sophisticated irrigation systems to manage the unpredictable flooding of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. This technological innovation allowed for more reliable agriculture, which in turn supported larger populations and the growth of cities. And then the invention of writing and development of law happened. One of Mesopotamia's most significant contributions to civilization was the invention of writing. Around 3200 BC, the Sumerians developed cuneiform, a system of writing that used wedge-shaped marks on clay tablets. Initially, writing was used for keeping records of transactions and inventories, but it soon expanded to include literature, religious texts, and legal codes. The development of writing facilitated the creation of legal systems and complex government structures. One of the earliest and the most famous legal codes is the Code of Hammurabi, established by the Babylonian king Hammurabi around 1754 BC. The code was inscribed on a large stone stele and outlined laws governing various aspects of society, including property rights, trade, family life, and punishment for crimes. It introduced the concept of an eye for an eye and established the principle that the king was responsible for ensuring justice. Now, religion and mythology in Mesopotamia. Religion played a central role in Mesopotamian society. The Sumerians, Akkadians, and Babylonians and Assyrians were polytheistic, worshipping a pantheon of gods and goddesses associated with natural forces and elements. Temples, known as ziggurats, were constructed in the center of cities and served as both religious and administrative hubs. The priestly class held significant power and influence over political and social life. Mythology was a key aspect of Mesopotamian religion. The Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the oldest surviving works of literature, recounts the adventures of the Sumerian king Gilgamesh as he seeks immortality. The mythological themes of creation, life, death, and the relationship between gods and humans were integral to the Mesopotamian worldview. Then the technological and cultural achievements. Mesopotamia was a center of technological and cultural innovation. The Sumerians are credited with the invention of the wheel, which revolutionized transportation and trade. They also developed the plow, which improved agricultural productivity, and the potter's wheel, which allowed for the mass production of pottery. Art and architecture flourished in Mesopotamia, with intricate sculptures, slender seals, and monumental buildings such as ziggurats. The development of mathematics and astronomy also advanced, with the Sumerian creating a numerical system based on the number 60, which is still used today in measuring time, 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour. Ancient Egypt, the gift of the Nile. While Mesopotamia was developing its cities and culture, another early civilization was emerging along the banks of the Nile River in northeastern Africa. Ancient Egypt is known for its monumental architecture, sophisticated society, and unique contributions to art, religion, and governance. The Nile River was the lifeblood of Egyptian civilization. providing fertile soil for agriculture, a means of transportation, and a source of sustenance. The geography of the Nile Valley. The geography of Egypt played a crucial role in the development of its civilization. The Nile River, which flows northward from the heart of Africa to the Mediterranean Sea, provided a reliable source of water and fertile soil. The annual flooding of the Nile deposited rich silt on the surrounding land, making it ideal for farming. The predictability of the Nile's floods allowed the Egyptians to develop a stable agricultural system, which supported a growing population and the rise of cities. The natural barriers of the desert to the east and west of the Nile provided protection from invasions, allowing Egyptian civilization to develop relatively undisturbed for centuries. The Nile also served as a highway for communication and trade, linking the various regions of Egypt and facilitating the exchange of goods and ideas. And then there was the rise of pharaohs and the unification of Egypt. By 3100 BC, Egypt had been unified under the rule of a single king or pharaoh. The pharaoh was considered a divine ruler, believed to be the earthly embodiment of the god Horus and the son of the sun god Ra. As both a religious and political leader, the pharaoh wielded immense power and authority. The concept of divine kingship was central to Egyptian society and governance. Egypt's history is traditionally divided into three major periods: the Old Kingdom, the Middle Kingdom, and the New Kingdom. Each of these periods saw the construction of monumental structures, the most famous of which are the pyramids built during the Old Kingdom. These massive stone structures served as tombs for the pharaohs and were believed to aid in their journey to the afterlife. Religion and the afterlife. Religion permeated all aspects of Egyptian life, from daily routines to the grandest architectural projects. The Egyptians were polytheistic, worshipping a multitude of gods and goddesses associated with nature, the afterlife, and various aspects of the human experience. The sun god Ra, the sky goddess Nut, and the god of the underworld Osiris were among the most important deities in Egyptian religion. The belief in an afterlife was central to the Egyptian religion. The Egyptians believed that after death, the soul embarked on a journey through the underworld where it would face judgment before entering the eternal paradise of the afterlife. Mummification, the preservation of the body, was essential to this process, as the Egyptians believed the soul needed a physical body to inhabit in the afterlife. The construction of elaborate tombs, including the pyramids, was an expression of the Egyptians' belief in the afterlife. The tombs were filled with items that deceased would need in the afterlife, including food, clothing, and even servants in the form of small statues known as shaptis. And then civilization got a major boost with the development of writing and the arts. The Egyptians developed one of the earliest writing systems known as hieroglyphics. This system used pictorial symbols to represent words and sounds and was used for religious texts, monumental inscriptions, and administrative records. Hieroglyphics was often inscribed on temple walls, tombs, and papyrus scrolls, providing a rich record of Egyptian history, religion, and culture. Art and architecture were highly developed in ancient Egypt. The Egyptians are famous for their monumental structures, like we saw earlier, pyramids, temples, and statues, such as the Great Sphinx of Giza. Egyptian art was characterized by a strict adherence to conventions, including the use of a grid system for proportions and the depiction of figures in a composite view, with heads and legs in profile and torsos facing forward. The craftsmanship of Egyptian artists extended to jewelry, pottery, and furniture, which were often elaborately decorated with gold, precious stones, and intricate carvings. The artistic achievements of ancient Egypt continue to inspire admiration and study to this day. Next up is the Indus Valley Civilization, a forgotten society by and large. The Indus Valley Civilization, which flourished from approximately 2500 to 1900 BC in what is now Pakistan and northwest India, is one of the least understood of the early civilizations. Despite its advanced urban planning and sophisticated culture, much of the Indus Valley civilization remains a mystery due to the undeciphered script and lack of monumental architecture. The cities of the Indus Valley, such as Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, were remarkable for their advanced urban planning. They featured grid-like street layouts, sophisticated drainage and sewage systems, and standardized weights and measures. These cities were home to well-constructed houses made of baked bricks as well as public baths and granaries. The economy of the Indus Valley civilization was based on agriculture, trade, and craft. The fertile floodplains of the Indus River provided abundant crops, while trade networks extended as far as Mesopotamia. The discovery of seals and other artifacts suggests that the Indus people engaged in long-distance trade with other ancient civilizations. Despite the many artifacts uncovered, the absence of palaces, temples, or monumental structures has led to the speculation about the nature of governance in the Indus Valley. Some historians believe that the civilization may have been more egalitarian with less emphasis on centralized authority compared to other early civilizations. The mysterious decline of the Indus Valley civilization, one of the most puzzling aspects of this civilization, is its sudden decline around 1900 BC. The reasons for this decline remain unclear, but several theories have been proposed. Some scholars suggest that environmental changes such as shifting river patterns or climate change may have disrupted agriculture. Others propose that invasions or internal conflicts could have contributed to the collapse of the civilization. However, the lack of evidence for widespread warfare or destruction has led some to question these theories. The decline of the Indus Valley civilization remains one of the great mysteries of ancient history. And now we look at early China, the rise of dynasties. In East Asia, early Chinese civilizations began to take shape along the Yellow River, Huanghe, around 2000 BC. The river's fertile floodplains provided an ideal environment for agriculture, leading to the growth of settled communities. Over time, these communities coalesced into powerful states ruled by dynasties, marking the beginning of China's long history as a unified civilization. The Xia and Shang dynasties. The earliest known Chinese dynasty is the Xia dynasty or Xia dynasty, which according to legend was founded by the semi-mythical figure Yu the Great around 2070 BC. While evidence of the Xia dynasty remains elusive, the succeeding Shang dynasty from 1600 to 1046 BC is well documented through archaeological discoveries and historical records. The Shang dynasty was characterized by the development of a complex society with a centralized government, a writing system, and advancements in bronze metallurgy. Oracle bones, inscribed with early Chinese characters, provide evidence of the Shang people's religious practices, including divination and ancestor worship. The Zhou dynasty and the mandate of heaven. Following the Shang dynasty, the Zhou dynasty, 1046 to 256 BC, rose to power, establishing a political and philosophical framework that would influence Chinese civilization for centuries. The Zhou introduced the concept of the mandate of heaven, which held that the emperor was divinely chosen to rule and that his authority was conditional on his ability to govern justly. The Zhou period also saw the development of important philosophical schools, including Confucianism and Taoism, which would shape Chinese culture and society for millennia. The teachings of Confucius emphasized the importance of family, social harmony, and ethical behavior, while Taoism focused on living in harmony with the natural world. And then there was the Americas. While early civilizations were emerging in Mesopotamia, Egypt, the Indus Valley, and China, complex societies were also developing in the Americas. The Olmec civilization, which flourished along the Gulf Coast of Mexico from around 1500 to 400 BC, is often considered the mother culture of Mesoamerica. The Olmecs are known for their monumental stone heads, intricate carvings, and advanced knowledge of astronomy and mathematics. They developed a writing system, a calendar, and a complex religious system centered on the worship of deities associated with natural elements such as the sun, rain, and earth. The Olmec influence extended throughout Mesoamerica, laying the foundation for later civilizations such as the Maya and the Aztec. The legacy of the Olmecs is evident in the cultural and religious practices of these later societies, as well as in their architectural and artistic achievements. The rise of the Maya. The Maya civilization, which reached its peak between 250 and 900 CE, is renowned for its achievements in writing, mathematics, and astronomy. The Maya developed a highly accurate calendar system, a complex hieroglyphic writing system, and monumental architecture, including pyramids, palaces, and observatories. Maya society was organized into city-states, each ruled by a king who was both a political and religious leader. The Maya were deeply religious, and their rituals included human sacrifice to appease the gods and ensure the continued cycles of sun and rain. Despite their achievements, the Maya civilization experienced a mysterious decline around 900 CE. While some cities continued to thrive for several more centuries, many of the major urban centers were abandoned. Now, how did the spread of civilization happen? As civilizations developed in different parts of the world, they began to interact through trade, warfare, and the exchange of ideas. These interactions facilitated the spread of technologies, religious beliefs, and cultural practices, leading to the development of more complex and interconnected societies. The Silk Road and the spread of ideas. One of the most significant networks of trade and cultural exchange was the Silk Road, which connected China with the Mediterranean world. This vast network of trade routes facilitated the exchange of goods such as silk, spices, and precious metals, as well as the spread of ideas, technologies, and religions. Buddhism, for example, spread from India to China and other parts of Asia along the Silk Road, influencing the religious and cultural development of these regions. Similarly, the exchange of technological innovations such as paper making and gunpowder had a profound impact on societies along the trade routes. The influence of the Mediterranean civilizations. The Mediterranean region was home to some of the most influential civilizations in history, including the Greeks and Romans. Greek culture, with its emphasis on philosophy, art, and democracy, had a lasting impact on the Western world. The Roman Empire, with its vast network of roads and cities, facilitated the spread of ideas and technologies across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. The fall of the Roman Empire in the 5th century CE marked the end of the classical period, but the legacy of Roman law, architecture, and engineering continued to influence European civilizations for centuries. In conclusion, the birth of civilization was a complex and multifaceted process that unfolded over thousands of years in different regions of the world. From the agricultural revolution that laid the foundation for settled communities to the development of writing, law, and government, early civilizations set the stage for the development of complex societies and cultures. The legacy of these early civilizations is still evident today in our cities, legal systems, languages, and cultural practices. By studying the birth of civilization, we gain a deeper understanding of the forces that have shaped human history and the shared heritage that connects us across time and space.